watching the brat. ChesaTheBrat, yeah. Get a subscriber tab. ChesaTheBrat. Turn around.
What's up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel. If you're not already subscribed, girl, what are you doing? Literally,
what are you doing?
how many times do I gotta tell you? Literally, when you subscribe to me, you get a fatter ass, you get a bigger bank, you get that you was plotting on.
Yeah.
Check the pinned comments of like 90% of my videos and they'll tell you like, Chesa, literally my ass got 10 times fatter, my back got a little smaller. Like,
come on.
First of all, as you guys can see, I have an
updated intro.
It's been long overdue, y'all. Literally, my intro was saying my old Instagram account that isn't even existent anymore. My TikTok, y'all, I'm locked out of it. I don't know if I'm ever gonna get back in it, which is why it's still in the intro, because I still want y'all to be able to watch those videos and stuff. But my new TikTok, I want y'all to stop this video right now and go follow my new TikTok. Is Chesa Morena. Please, I'm about to start up the loyalty test again. Like, I'm about to be active on there. I'm about to do some yapping. I'm about to do some mini story times on there. Go follow my TikTok. Not playing with y'all. Also, follow me on Instagram at ChesaLaMorena. And go follow my intro girl. She ate down, y'all. I've been looking for her for a minute. Shout out to my subscriber. I don't know if you're seeing this video, comment down below if you are the one who sent me my intro girl, because you can see like her old ad on my old intro, and I typed it in. I kept trying to find her and nothing was popping up because she changed the username. Somehow my subscriber was able to find her, and luckily my came through for me and made me a new intro with updated pictures and all my new handles. So shout out to you, baby. Y'all need to go get at her for your intros and all your graphic needs. She can literally do it all, and she did it so fast, y'all. I literally hit her up a couple days ago and I already have the intro. Like, who you know? And she booked and busy, girl. Like, don't play with her. Turnaround time 2T. But anyways, you guys can see by the title, y'all probably at this point thinking I just be doing anything at this point. Like, I just be going through anything at this point. And it's like, I do be going through a lot, but it's like, this situation is not even recent, y'all. This literally happened to me when I was 16 years old. The bitch has been mad since I was 16 years old, baby. The bitch has been mad since before that. No shade, the bitch has been mad. I'm bigger, better. I'm a bad mama child, even in pajamas. This story is when I was dating this boy when I was 16, and his mama literally wanted me to drag her. She wanted me to drag her so bad, y'all. Did I drag her? I'm gonna let you guys guess right now and watch the video. Y'all probably gonna get it wrong, to be honest. But disclaimer, if you are one of those people that listen to a story and you're like, why would you even do that? Or you the type to get mad and be like, like, this is stupid. Like, I'm just giving you a fair warning. You're going to feel like this in this video. You're going to. Like, I feel like that too, so it's okay. If you want to leave a comment like, girl, you should have been left him, or girl, this is low-key your fault for dealing with it this long, go ahead. I really do not care, baby. I really do not care. Y'all know one thing about me, all opinions and all comments are welcome, as long as they are not just ignorant. You know what I mean? As long as it's not like, as long as you're not trying me. As long as you're not really trying me and disrespecting me, you can really comment whatever you would like. That does not mean that I'm not going to clock your ass if you try to clock me, because I do be responding to some of y'all comments and some of y'all be trying to clock me. Oh, I do want to talk about something. Do I want to talk about that in this video? No, I really don't. I really don't care that much. Just so y'all know, if I make a story time, I never said I was right in every situation. You know what I'm saying? Like, majority of the situations, I feel like I have pretty good discernment. I have pretty good judgment of
not character,
but judgment of like the situation, like situational awareness. Am I wrong, or should I, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. I feel like a lot of these situations y'all would have done the same or worse than me, but some of y'all be like saying I be picking and choosing who I want to cut off and who. Obviously, y'all, I'm telling y'all the story time, but I'm not telling y'all every single situation I've ever had with a certain friend since I met them. You know what I mean? Not every single situation is put in the story time. Just the story is put in the story time. So if it don't got nothing to do with the story, 9 times out of 10 y'all don't know about it. So if I cut off a hoe and y'all are like, damn, you didn't cut off that other girl, clearly this girl gave me more reason to cut her off. Okay? Anyways, I know a lot of you guys have heard of like mama's boys being red flags, and I would say that that can be the truth a lot of the time. Let me try not to say like. Take a shot every time I say like.
Julian.
Y'all, 9 times out of 10, if a boy is like a strong mama's boy, usually that's not a good sign. I'm not trying to be a hater or anything like that, because, you know, maybe he just loved his mama in a very healthy way, but we all know how it can get weird. let's just get right into the story. I already told you guys this was around when I was 16 years old. Y'all already know the timeline be wonky. 16, and I believe he was 17 years old. You would think that I'm his baby mother. You would think that we're 37 and this is my mother-in-law and this is my husband and the father of my children, the way that this lady was acting. Not that that would justify it. Like, nothing, no circumstance would justify how this lady was acting. Like, she literally had no decorum. But you would think that this was just such a serious relationship, the way that this lady was treating me and acting. But no, literally 16 and 17 years old, at our little ass ages and her big ass age, this is what was going on. We're gonna give him the name MB for mama's boy, and to keep the little like letter, like acronym names going, we're gonna give his mother the name OB. MB for mama's boy, OB for obsessed, literally. And we're gonna get to all of that, but I'm gonna tell you guys how I met him first. I met MB at a football game. I already told you guys, we used to go to the football games, like the home games, and we would never be watching the football games. Like, literally, it was basically Love Island. Going to the football game was literally to either go with your boo or to go find a boo. At least it was for me and my homegirls, or at least at my school. So I remember I went with my homegirls. I went with a homegirl that was in my grade, and then we ended up catching a ride to the football game with our homegirl that was an upperclassman who was driving her way.
What the fuck?
Who was driving or whatever. I think I was driving at the time. I wrecked my car probably like a month after I got my first car, or maybe like a couple months after I got my first car. So this had to have been in between when I got in that wreck and I was waiting to get a new car. I don't really know. I don't know. Or maybe I just caught a ride with her because we just wanted to ride with her. I don't know. But we ended up riding with her. And when we got to the game, it was a home game, like I said. The way that it was like set up is, if you go to the school and you're like an upperclassman, there's like a lot for the seniors. There's like a senior lot, or like an upperclassman lot. I don't know if it was just seniors or if it was like for juniors and seniors, but there was like a lot on the top towards the stadium or whatever, and there was like a practice field up there, and then the entrance to the stadium to like see the game and shit like that was up there by the lot. So we parked up there and we went in the game or whatever, and we had to have been at the concessions or the bathrooms or just walking around mingling or whatever we were doing. And my homegirl, it was either me or my homegirl, had left something in our homegirl's car. Mind you, the homegirl that we had rode with, she wasn't really with us like the whole time. She was like down. There was like seniors would paint themselves and stuff, and they would be down kind of like, I forgot what it's called. It's like the tailgate. I think that's what it's called. They would be tailgating, and I mean, we could have joined if we wanted to. It wasn't like strict, you have to be a senior. If you were with the seniors, you could be over there tailgating too. I did it a couple of times, but this day we wasn't really prepared for that. We didn't paint our faces, we didn't paint our legs and stuff like that. We were really just there to mingle and catching a ride with her or whatever, because that was our girl. She gave us the keys because we were going to be riding back with her anyways. So she gave us the keys in case we needed to go to the car or anything like that without having to like hound her and find her or whatever. So we had left something in the car, but there was always this, I don't know if it was a teacher. I mean, sometimes it would be a teacher, sometimes it would be a principal, sometimes it would be a lunch lady. Like, it was just a faculty member that will always stand by the gate of the entrance of the game. And basically, if you were a student there and you didn't have like a parent with you, or like you weren't chaperoned or with any adult or whatever, you cannot, like, your whole group cannot leave out and then come back in. Like, they picked and choose. Obviously, if it was somebody, like if it was a teacher that you messed with or whatever, it was somebody that, you know, fucks with you, they'll let you in and out or whatever. But they didn't want you leaving in, coming back in, leaving out, coming back in, because they kept having to check us, because they don't want people bringing in, you know what I'm saying, anything that you're not supposed to be bringing in on school grounds or whatever. So basically, my homegirl stood by the gate of the entrance, like by where the teacher was, and I had walked to the car to go get whatever it was that we left in the car. I'm looking around in the car. I remember not really knowing like where whatever it was. Let's just say for the sake of the video that it was like somebody's purse. Somebody left their little purse, mini purse, and I was looking around for it. It probably was lip gloss or something stupid, something smaller that I couldn't really find in the car, but I was looking around for it or whatever, and I see in the corner of my eye while I'm looking this dude approach, and I look over, and it's this dude that I've been seeing around the school. Like, I knew he went to my school, but I knew he wasn't in my grade. He had to have been either a junior or a senior, and I had seen him before. He was fairly new though. He was newer in the school year, and I never spoke to him before. I just seen him. So he comes up and he asked me for a lighter. He's like, hey, you got a lighter? And I was like, no. But I didn't look at him. Like, after I seen who it was, like, obviously I was trying to make sure I wasn't about to get put in somebody's van. Okay, so I looked, I saw him, and then I kept looking around, and as I'm looking around, that's when he asked. And without looking back at him, I'm kind of just like, no, I don't, sorry. And I'm still looking, right? I don't stop and look at him again. So I guess he kind of felt like he didn't want to bother me because he saw that I said it without looking at him, or I don't know, but or maybe he just was fiending for a lighter and went to go ask somebody else. I don't really know, but he ended up kind of saying like, all right, appreciate it, and walking back into the game. I found what I was looking for, and I went back into the game not thinking nothing of it. He was cute, like, you know, he had a little face card on him, but I wasn't really paying attention because I was looking for what I was looking for, right? So I go back in the game, me and my homegirls are talking, woo doo woo doo woo. He ends up coming up to me again while I'm kind of like with my friends, and we kind of step away from my friends so that we can talk, like obviously not right in front of my friends. And he just kind of like,
so you really didn't have no lighter, you just didn't want to talk to me?
and then he starts chopping it up with me. And y'all, I'm literally mayor of Yap City. Like when I feel comfortable, I just get to yapping and it just never ends. And we just start yapping, we get to talking, and I'm like, no, I really don't have no lighter, like I don't even smoke. And he's just like, okay. And he's just asking me about myself, and we start talking, right? We flirting a little bit, I ain't gonna hold you, but it wasn't like no heavy like trying to pursue me, trying to, you know what I'm saying? It was just casual talking at the football game, right? So probably like 5 minutes into our conversation, I see this woman start to approach me. Or not even approach me, approach us, I should say. And I don't know who the lady is. I've never seen her a day in my life, obviously. And I don't know who the f she is. So I'm thinking she's probably a teacher. Or maybe he's about to get in trouble because he's going around asking people for lighters. I don't know, somebody that snitched on his ass. I don't know what's going on. So I kind of am looking like, hello? Like,
Hi ma'am, who are you?
and she just kind of walks up and she's like, oh. And she says to him, she's like, oh, who is this? And he's just like, Ma, chill, I just met her, I'm just talking to her, I'm just asking for her Instagram or whatever. Oh yeah, she had started approaching as I was like putting my phone away. He had asked for my Instagram or my number, I don't really remember which one, but like I gave it to him, we exchanged information, and as I was putting my phone away, that's when she was approaching. So she must have seen, you know, us exchange information. That's when she came up with her nosy ass. And when he said Ma, I immediately was like, oh, like his mom is probably here at the game because he got a brother on the team, like a little brother on the team, or he got a little sibling that wanted to come to the game and she wanted to come so he wouldn't have to, you know what I'm saying? I'm not thinking nothing of like, why is his mama here? She's just like, oh, okay. She like shakes my hand or whatever. She's like, well, I'm his mom, so I just wanted to see, you know, what this was, because I saw him talking to a pretty girl. And she kind of looks, she kind of saying it just like this. Let me do it just like she did it. She was like,
Well, I don't know, I saw him talking to a pretty girl, so I just, you know, I'm his mama, so I wanted to come see what that was about.
like, just all it is, like, what, girl, what are you doing with your neck, baby? She's just doing the most, y'all. And I'm just like, at first I think it's cute, I'm not gonna lie, I thought it was cute, like mama's being a protective, you know, little mama bear or whatever, just being nosy in her son's business. That's all I think it is. Like, you know, I wasn't thinking nothing of it. My friends kind of come over and they like pull me to come with them or whatever, so I tell her, you know, nice to meet you, and I tell him I'm gonna text you, and then when I go about my little day at the game, right? And that's all that came from that night. As y'all can imagine, as usual, as it always goes, obviously we keep texting. He's texting me during the game, y'all. Like, we literally going back and forth texting. Like, I'm glued to my oh, I'm sorry, y'all, I'm glued to my phone. I know my friends were probably sick of me that day. Like, if this is my, oh, let me not use that, let me use this. If this is my phone, I'm at the game, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're texting while we're at the same place, but like I didn't want to leave my friends to go be with a dude that I just met. So I was like participating with my friends, talking to my friends, but I was also texting him. And obviously we're in the school year or whatever, so school comes around and we're texting during class. I'm starting to get those come out of class texts or whatever, you know what I'm saying? I'm starting to get excited to go to school because I want to go see my little crush that I'm texting. You know, it's that little vibe or whatever. So everything's cool at first, y'all. Everything's cool. He's talking to me respectfully. He seems like a respectable young man. Like, nothing, no red flags at first. No red flags at first. I'm liking him. We're talking in school. He's not like hiding me from his friends at school. Like, he's not being weird when girls are around at school. Nothing like that. We cool. We're not dating yet at this point, but we're kind of getting there, right? We end up getting to the point where he starts hanging out with me at my trampoline, and we're walking my neighborhoods after school. We're going to eat after school, stuff like that. Like, we're hanging out often, right? And everything seems cool, no problem, like no problems are going on until literally, y'all, this random mother afternoon. I feel like if this situation never happened, if my mama ain't never say this, if me and my mama were not being messy, she's most us talking in the fucking room, I feel like this would have never happened. One day, I'm bothering my mama in her room. I literally had no life this day. Like, I had no life, I had no hobby, I had no plan, I had no no productive things to do this day, so I just went in my mama's room, started bothering her, and I'm just talking to her about him, right? I'm talking to her, I'm telling her, oh, I really like him, like he always coming over here, and he be getting me food, and he be bringing me food to school, and during lunch, like, y'all, he would bring me lunch at school. Like, he would leave the campus even though we weren't supposed to, and he would bring me lunch at my lunch. We didn't even have the same lunch. Like, I would have B lunch and he would have A lunch, and he would leave, somehow make it happen and go get me some Chick-fil-A, bring it to my B lunch. Like, I was feeling him, right? So I'm telling my mama all of this, and she's just like, well, have you seen how he's living? And she's like, how come you don't ever go over there to see where he stay at? Like, why he always come and hang around here? Y'all, it was very playful the way my mama said it. She was like, he must not want you to see that dirty room. And we're laughing, like, me and her are laughing about it like it's nothing serious, because y'all know my mama, she was real cool. All of the things that I was supposed to be doing, my chores at home, done. So my mama really didn't trip on what I did. On top of that, I was really not a bad kid at all. Like, I mean, y'all know I would get into some bad stuff, but as far as like sneaking around and not telling my mama where I'm at, no, my mom literally had my location majority of my teenage years just for safety purposes. I would tell my mama when I was going on a date, all of that. My mama didn't trip on none of that. So she would probably, even though she was cool like that and she was like lenient, I wouldn't say, she also like would have preferred me to hang out with anybody, not even just dudes, like hang out with anybody where she was at, you know what I'm saying? Just because she know we gonna be fed, she know we gonna be safe, so she didn't really have to worry. So it wasn't that she wanted me to go over there, it was just on some like, she was like, well, what's he hiding in his room, on some funny stuff. And she was like, have you seen his mama? Like, you know what I'm saying, just trying to play with me because I'm over here hyping him up. So even though I was laughing about it, it kind of gave me like, it planted a little seed. I'm not gonna lie, mama, you planted a little seed in my head. I think it was like a Saturday or whatever. So I go and FaceTime him when I go to my room, and he hits me, or he answers the phone. He's just like, hey, what's up, what you doing? I'm like, nothing, but I want to come see you. Like, let me come see you right now. It wasn't like he was uncomfortable with the idea, or it seemed like it was anything shady around him coming over or anything like that. It was just kind of like he was surprised because I had never asked to come over there, and that would have been the first time. So he was kind of like, oh, like right now, like you want to come over here right now? And I was like, yeah, I mean, you always coming over here on a whim, or you know, trying to hang out on a whim over here, so why wouldn't right now not be a good time? You know what I'm saying? Just being aggy and petty or whatever. And he's like, oh, okay, that's cool, let me call my mama real quick and make sure that's cool. He hangs up the phone on me. So I'm thinking it's 12 p.m. it's Saturday. This nigga could literally come over to my house whenever he wanted to, whenever we wanted to hang out and go get food and go, you know what I'm saying, do anything. He was always available to do so. He never made it seem like his mama was strict with where he was and what he was doing. And even when we would hang out, and like it would be me and his, like our mutual friends, because he had mutual friends that I knew at the high school, like we all went to the same school, and we would be in the neighborhood. Y'all know how kids would kick it in the neighborhood all together or whatever, so we would be around our mutual friends and shit. And when he would answer the phone, sometimes he would be like, oh, I'm just with my friends, and she would hang up and she wouldn't call him again. Keep this in mind, whenever he would say he was with his friends or with his homeboys or with his homies, she did not press him, she did not call again, she did not call multiple times. She would be on some, okay, cool, be safe, son, love you. Like, it was never no weird shit. So keep that in mind. So I'm thinking, you know what I'm saying, she gonna say yes. I might have to wait till she get home. I don't really know because it's my first time going over there, but I'm not thinking that she's gonna say no, or it's gonna be no ordeal or anything like that. So I get cute or whatever just in case, and I get ready or whatever. Probably 10 minutes while I'm getting ready, he called me and he's like, I'm not gonna lie, my mama's kind of tripping. She wants you to come over to like formally meet her or whatever before you just start coming over my house. And granted, I did meet her at the football game. I met her involuntarily, but I met her. She saw me. So I don't really know, like, you know what I'm saying? To me, it was just a little OD, because it's like, we're not even like together yet, or like I don't know what we really are, but we like just started dating or whatever you want to call it. So I didn't think like sitting down at a dinner was really necessary, and it was kind of like nerve-wracking, not gonna lie. But at the same time, everybody mama don't operate the same. So I was like, maybe she just wants to make a good impression on me, maybe she just wants to like impress me, make me feel like welcome, or make him look good, like he has a mom that really cares. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not trying to disrespect her, because just because my mama wouldn't have to have a whole dinner to meet somebody doesn't mean that somebody else's mama wouldn't. So I'm like, all right, cool, so like when are you saying? And he was like, she's on the way home, but she said that she doesn't want you to come over today, so like this coming weekend, like next weekend damn near, you can come over for dinner or whatever, and then after that you should be cool. So I'm like, okay, so we can hang out up until then, but just not at your house until we have a dinner. And he was like, yeah, like I don't know, she be tripping. And I was like, in my head I'm thinking like, he obviously did not tell her that we've been hanging out. He obviously did not tell her from like the football game on that we've been like dating or dealing with each other. So that's probably why he can hang out with me outside of the house, because she's probably just now learning that we're a thing now. I don't know. So I'm just like, whatever. I'm not really too pressed about it, because it wasn't like I told y'all, it wasn't like I just had to be at his house. Like I'm cool being at my house. I'm cool being in my backyard. I'm cool going to the neighborhoods. Like it was casual. We wasn't doing nothing, and for the whole relationship we did not do nothing. So keep that in mind too. Fast forward, the school week goes, we still seeing each other in class, we still hanging out outside of school, like on my side or whatever, in my area. And he ends up telling me, oh, my mom said that this Friday after school you can come and we're gonna have dinner and all that, and that's when, you know, you can come over or whatever. And I'm like, cool. So I'm getting a little nervous, even though I already met her. I have never been the type to be nervous to meet parents, as in like I'm worried they're not gonna like me, because like parents always like me, y'all, whether it's a man's parents or my friend's parents. Like I really don't have any issues with anybody's parents, because I was raised with decorum. I have manners. I know how to speak to people. I know how to speak to adults. I know how to act. So I never really had a problem with that. But it was just like nerve-wracking, because like I said, I wasn't used to having no sit-down dinner and all of that, especially so soon. So I'm just kind of like biting my fingernails, but I'm like, you know, I can always get down with a good meal. You know what I'm saying? I am a big back, so I'm not really, you know, I'm kind of excited for this dinner.
I hope she could cook.
Let's go ahead and just skip to the dinner, right? So I get to the dinner, y'all. Mind you, I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt. I'm wearing like, it was like, I don't even know, I can picture it. It was like one of those long sleeve shirts that look like tattoos, but it wasn't see-through. You could not see through it, okay? But it was like, it had a design on it like tattoos. And I did have tattoos, but I wasn't trying to hide it or nothing. It was just, I was just trying to wear something more, I don't know, appropriate, I guess. I wasn't finna come in no booty ass shorts and no tiny ass crop top to go to dinner with him and his mother. You know what I'm saying? So I wore something cutesy, something very mindful. And as soon as I sit down, y'all, first of all, this lady had a journal, like where a plate should be, where food should be at a dinner. She had a little booklet, or like a little journal. That's number one. Mind you, I had my plate already in front of me. Like when I got there, the food was already on the table. So my meal was in front of me, his meal was in front of him, and she had a book in front of her, no meal. So I sit down and she's just like, oh, so you're the girl from the football game. Like this is the first time that she's hearing about me again, obviously. So I kind of look at him and I'm kind of like annoyed, because it's like, why haven't you told her that we've been talking up until right now? Like, boy. Anyways, so I sit down and she starts immediately opening the journal, and she's like, so what's your sign? And before I can even say, and I used to say Aries, mind you, I used to say Aries because I literally thought until maybe last year that I was an Aries. Y'all even know, some of y'all have clocked my tea and been like, you saying you a Taurus all of a sudden, I thought you were Aries. I thought I was Aries too. I thought I was Aries too, but I'm born April 20th, 2001. I guess I'm on the first day of Taurus, right after the last day of Aries. I'm on the cusp or whatever, and depending on the time you were born, I guess you could be either one. But I'm a Taurus, it's been confirmed, but I do have some Aries tendencies. But anyways, so before I can even say Aries out my mouth, she goes, are you an Aries? And I'm like, oh, I am an Aries. And I don't know if she looked at, no shade, I don't know if she looked at my social media, because I definitely had Aries in my bio at the time, like the Aries symbol, like emoji. I don't know if she looked, found my page somehow, asked him for my Instagram, snooped on his Instagram, because I know she followed him. I don't know if she, you know what I'm saying, looked on some weird, because before I could even say it, she just said it. And I was like, yeah. She was like, I could feel the Aries energy as soon as you walked in. Mind you, I don't have no problem with the zodiac girlies, like the super like heavy on the zodiac girlies. I really don't have a problem with that, but I'm just not one of those girls. Like I definitely do sometimes look up zodiac. I'll read up on it and I'm into it. I'm interested in it, especially like more now than I was then. But at the time I wasn't really into it. It's not that I was judging her. It was just a little strange for that to be the first thing that she's talking about. I'm just not used to this. I'm not used to the type of woman she was in any sense or aspect. She's like, do you know what sign my son is? Like, you guys are not very compatible, but at the same time, and then she starts talking about his exes, y'all, his exes signs. And she's like, I remember one time he was dating a Pisces and he was super compatible with her, but she just had certain characteristics about her sign that were just conflicting and would cause issues within the relationship that I think was the demise of the relationship and just caused them to fall apart. And I'm just like, is you really talking about his exes and their zodiac signs right now? And she's like,
well, even though you guys are not very compatible romantically, you're very compatible on a friendship and platonic level. So that being said, it could really challenge you guys. And if you guys can get through that challenge, then maybe you guys were meant to be, even though he's really meant to be with a Pisces.
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care.
Let me tell you something.
We don't care.
Like that, right? I'm thinking Shorty is drunk. Or I'm thinking she's joking. This is satire. This is a joke. Again, John Quinones, like, what the are you talking about, ho? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? But again, I was trying to be very mindful, very respectful, and I'm just kind of like laughing it off. And something I've always been good at, baby, is steering the conversation if I need to without showing that I'm bothered. I don't have a poker face, but I was on the AP debate team. Like, we can go back and forth and I can, you know, handle a conversation without getting angry. I can't. Before I steer the conversation, like, for him to be the main one talking or whatever, she ends up like talking about college and shit, right? So she's kind of like, well, what are your plans for college? Like, are you planning on going to college? And then, which is normal, right? I feel like it's pretty normal for certain parents to be talking about stuff like that. We are in high school. He's closer to graduating than I am, but I don't know if she knows that or whatever. So she's asking me about that, and then she said something kind of like,
or are you one of those girls who wants to do like a beauty trade or whatever, something with less longevity, or like, you know, something a little less reliable?
Now, mind you, did I think that I was going to be a YouTuber? Not necessarily. Did I always want to be a YouTuber? Hell yeah. But was that like something I spoke about as if that was something I was going to pursue? No. What I wanted to do was be a psychologist. I wanted to go to school for psychology, and I did. I did a semester in college for psychology, or a semester or two, and it just wasn't for me. But it was just like the assumption that I was going to pursue something with beauty and then trying to undermine it, or trying to like take a big dookie on it and act like that's not something you can have longevity with or like be successful with. Girly, what are you talking about? Because now I know a bunch of girls that are in the beauty industry that have 6 figures plus, you know, doing way more than some of the girls I know that went to college that didn't end up really pursuing anything out of that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Everybody has a different path. So I wasn't really messing with that, because I have parents that, you know, first of all, my parents came from Venezuela and came here so I could have a good life and shit like that. And it's like, my parents didn't even press me going to college. Did they like prefer me to go that route? Probably. But they wanted me to do whatever I wanted to do to make me happy. You know, they weren't pressing that on me. So I'm kind of like looking at her up and down like, girl, what the hell is you talking about? But again, I'm not thinking nothing of it. I'm just kind of like, oh, and I tell her I want to go to college and be a psychologist, and she's like, oh, okay, that's cute. Like, I can agree with that. And I'm like, girl, in my head I'm thinking, you don't have to agree with it. You're not my mom. Like, I'm just like, oh, he has one of those moms, you know what I mean? So let me just tell y'all a little bit about MB. MB was not a goody-goody, two shoes type of boy. He was not like, he was a mama's boy, but he definitely wasn't the type of to like never get into trouble or never do anything bad. Like, he was definitely smoking that stuff. I did not smoke at the time. He was smoking that stuff. He was drinking. I didn't even drink at the time like that. Like, there was a couple times I've drank, but he was drinking regularly with his homeboys on the weekends. Like, you know, he was a pretty regular 17-year-old teenager doing 17-year-old teenager shit. And I don't know if she was in denial of that, because I know she knows, because he told me that she knows that he smokes and that she's caught him smoking before. So I don't know if it was denial or if she didn't believe him, thought he was joking. I don't really know. But just keep in mind that he was not the like model son, and that she knew this
from the jump.
I guess ever since the dinner and her knowing that we were a thing, every single time that we started hanging out together, she started blowing up that phone. She started calling him, and like I said, when he was hanging out with the homeboys or with me and the homeboys and just would say friends, she was not calling that phone like that. She didn't even care where he was. She wasn't asking, oh, where are you? When are you coming home? What are you doing? No, it was like, who you with? And when he would be like, oh, my friends, she would be like, okay. She couldn't care less. He could have been at the strip club and she would have hung up that phone. But whenever he would say, oh, I'm with Chesa, we're getting ice cream, she would call every 30 minutes. FaceTime, oh, she would call regular, and then be like, oh, when he would say he's with me, she would be like, okay, FaceTime me, and then he would show her me. Like, girl, Is you cool? I promise y'all I would never call nobody mama just out their name for no reason, but like y'all are going to start seeing, y'all are gonna be saying, ho, is you cool? Before me probably. Y'all probably already done said it. Once she started finding out that me and him were a thing, she literally made him get, I don't know if it was Life 360, I don't know if that was a thing when we were 16, 17, but she got like a, I don't know, she started having him share his location with her, and like, so she would already know when he was with me. I guess like she, from the first time he said, oh, I'm at Chesa's house, when the location was on, she knew that was my house. Every time his location would show my house, she would be calling his phone without even saying, who are you with? She would just be like, what are y'all doing? She would already know that he's with me. And it got to the point where we literally stopped hanging out at my house like as much, and we would start like hanging out in the neighborhood, where like he would hang out with his homeboys even when I wasn't there. So, and then he started just saying like, oh, I'm with my homeboys, and he would occasionally say he was with me, because obviously he wasn't going to stop saying it altogether, because we were still a thing and I was still gonna come over his house sometimes. But it was just getting annoying. Like, we didn't see it as a red flag at first, or I didn't see it as a red flag at first, but it was definitely something a little aggy. So, you know, sometimes he would just not say he was with me. Now, I started going over his house. We obviously had to keep the door open and stuff like that, but she started getting to the point where she had no boundaries with him. Like, we didn't have any privacy. And when I say privacy, y'all, there's only so much privacy you can have when you under a parent's roof, when you're a minor. Even though he was 17, almost 18, you're not 18 yet, you still live in your mama's house. So it's not like, when I say privacy, I don't mean, oh, we want to be in the room alone with the door closed and her leave us alone. No, I just mean when we having a conversation, I want our conversation to be between me and him. Even with the door open, I don't want nobody walking from the other side of the house, because her room was on the other side of the house, coming by the door to listen to our conversation. I don't want you butting in on our conversations. I do not want you texting him while I'm with you, asking what we're talking about, or what we're about to go do, or where we've been, and like just asking a million questions that she don't ask any other time. You know what I'm saying? And he would literally tell me, like, I was asking him, when you were with other girls, was she doing all of that? And he was like, nah, not really. I don't know. Like, maybe it's because I'm a little older now. She thinks that me and you are a little more serious, or maybe she thinks we're doing stuff. I don't really know what her problem is. And I was just like, oh, okay. Because at first I'm like, you know, I'm not stunning it for real. But then it starts getting to a point where I'm like about to get to that point where I'm like, nigga, you need to handle that. You need to handle that. We in the room at his house, and we get to arguing, y'all, about the dumbest ever. We're literally arguing about where we finna go eat. And the reason we were arguing so hard about it, and this was one of our more like serious arguments, or like not serious arguments because it wasn't serious, but it was like one of our more heated arguments, where we actually started to like go back and forth for real. We're not yelling up in this lady's house or nothing like that, but we are, you know, heated a little bit with each other, frustrated with each other for the first time. And it's because he ends up saying something to me that I really don't like, because I'm kind of like tripping on where we going to eat, and I say something like, damn nigga, like you always get to pick where we eating. And he kind of like says something disrespectful. In my opinion, he's like, well, I'm the main one paying for it, so why wouldn't I be picking where we eating? And it was just like, that rubbed me the wrong way. That was a red flag in my opinion, because it's like, boy, you be the one offering to pay for the food, and when I be offering, you be like insisting that you pay for the food. You don't even let me like dig in my pockets, which that's a green flag, I guess, even though like it's a love language of mine to kind of like do for my partner as well. Like I like to trick a little bit, but he would never let me. But then when I'm like saying I don't want to eat somewhere and we're going back and forth about it, you try to throw in my face how you always the one paying for it, and basically how I shouldn't have no say in where we eat. Boy, is you cool? Is you cool? So as we're arguing about this, his mom comes in the room. The door's already open, but she kind of like opens it some more. She comes in the room and she's just like,
I'm not gonna lie, son, I feel like she's being unreasonable, and honestly, she like, you guys need to know your guys' places. And you like, she like looks at me and she's like, you need to know your place. She says it softly like that, because it's like she was trying to be very passive about it. She wasn't like, you need to know your place. She was like, you need to know your place, and you need to know your place. And she was like, he's paying for it. And then she looked to her son and she was like, she's just being unreasonable. Really, you guys should just go to my favorite place to eat. And I'm like, what the like, am I living in the Twilight Zone right now? Because did you just say I need to know my place? You need to know your place. You're his mother. You're not in our relationship. Why are you trying to, like, it would be different if she came in the room because she overheard us raising our voices, which I literally remember like it was yesterday. We were not raising our voices, but she had to have been in the hall like trying to listen in, because again, she was on the opposite side of the house. But
it would be different if she came in to try to like diffuse the argument, was like, why don't you guys just go where she wants to eat this time and you pick next time, or like something like to try to have us meet in the middle or something, to teach a lesson or something. No, she came in on some like, y'all need to know your places in the relationship. If he's paying for it, he can pick where you guys go eat. It's not a big deal, it's just food. And she just kind of says to him like, why don't you just take her where I like? And then she says her favorite place or whatever, and even he was looking at her like, girl, get out. So he kind of tells her like, mom, I'll handle our conversation, like get out of my room. Not on some like, get out of my room, mom, but like on some like, mom, it's cool, just can you get out please? And she leaves the room or whatever, and we kind of stopped arguing because we both felt like that was weird. He ended up letting me pick where we went to eat. Like he knew better than to still not let me pick where we were eating after his mama just came in being weird. This next situation is where I finally like expressed to him that I wanted him to like say something, or like I brought the issue to his attention, because I wasn't going to bring the issue to her attention just because that's his mother. At the end of the day, I did tell y'all I was raised with decorum. I was not about to go back and forth with his mother or like check her or nothing like that, because she's the adult. It's her house at the end of the day too. But I was definitely going to say something to him, because it's like, if she's being disrespectful or if she's doing weird, I need you to be able to address it if it's like warranted, if it's like, you know what I'm saying, that big of a deal or whatever. Because he did not want me to read his mother for filth. He did not want me to read her. He did not, because the way I would have read her, y'all, there would have been no coming back from that. And I still liked him. I heavy on the liked him. I liked him a lot. So I did not want to read his mother. Y'all did not. Boom. Next situation. I started bringing my console over there. I don't know if y'all know that your girl gets into the gaming. I want to start a streaming channel and everything, but that's another conversation for another time. I always was into playing games because my brother had a console. Like growing up, I started on the Nintendo 64, baby. We used to play Super Mario, Smash Bros, all of that. But I started getting into like the Call of Duty and the Fortnite and all that stuff. And my mama ended up buying me my own console, because obviously my brother had a console, but I wouldn't, like, he wouldn't really allow me to play it without him. Like if we were playing together, that was cool, but he didn't want me like signing in on my own stuff and playing his games. So my mama bought my own consoles or whatever, and the boy that I was dealing with, MB, he had a gaming system at his house, but he didn't have the same gaming system as me. I'm pretty sure I had PlayStation at this point. I had switched over from Xbox to PlayStation. I'm not about to argue with y'all which one's better, so don't even get into that in the comments. But he still had an Xbox, I had my PlayStation, and all of my stuff was signed in on PSN and stuff like that. So I ended up like bringing my console over there sometimes, and I would leave it there for like maybe 2 days and then bring it back to my house. I would never leave it there for long. And while his stuff was plugged in, my stuff could not be plugged in, so we would switch the consoles over and stuff. And his mom has seen us do this before, because we had done it in the living room and we've done it in his room. So there was a day where my console was on the floor. Like there was like a little corner where I was put some of my stuff or whatever for when I would come over, and my console was over there with like maybe like a purse that I've left over there, just a couple things. It's not like I brought all of my stuff over there like I was moving in, because I know some parents that didn't like that type of stuff, like in young relationships, like that does not live here, she doesn't need to act like she lives here, you know what I'm saying? But it was not that. I literally had a couple of things over there, and I would never leave it over there for a long period of time. So like I told y'all, she had no boundaries. She would go in his room, go through his stuff, clean up his room. Like she was cleaning up his room for him and stuff like that, which I don't know. My mom would never go in my room after a certain age, like after like probably 15, unless I gave her a reason, and he didn't give her no reason for real. Like his room was not even messy like that or nothing like that, but we would come to his room and his drawers would be open like she was going through it and stuff like that, which me personally, when I'm a parent, I'm not going to just be doing that unprovoked. I feel like that's an invasion of privacy. I feel like kids do deserve a certain amount of privacy, unless they're acting like, you know, you need to invade their privacy. I don't feel like you should, and he definitely wasn't, y'all. But anyway, so one day we get back to his room, my console is missing. My console and all of the little stuff that was like directly next to it, literally my purse and maybe like some jewelry and my PlayStation, my brand new PlayStation that my mother bought me with her money. So he kind of goes to his mom and he's like, did you clean my room? She's like, yeah, I cleaned up your room, and I threw away some old stuff. She ended up throwing away some of his papers, some of his lighters, stuff like that, which I mean, I guess understandable if you don't want your child having a certain habit or whatever. But she knew he smoked and never really cared, according to him. Like she didn't love it, but she didn't like do stuff like that before. But he's just like, you threw away what old stuff? And she was like, oh, like your little PlayStation and like whatever else was on the floor, I picked up and threw it away. And he immediately looks at me, and y'all, I'm 38 hot, like I'm ready to pounce on her ass. like at this point, because oh, is you AC unit? Oh, is you dashing through the snow? What is you talking about? Is you cool? So I look at him and he can tell I'm upset, y'all. I'm literally about to cry because that's my PlayStation my mama bought me. And if I told my mama a grown-ass lady threw away my PlayStation, my mom would not be happy about that. And she damn sure would not buy me another one because she probably would have been like, why are you bringing that over anybody's house? But at the same time, that doesn't justify you throwing away my shit. Like, it doesn't. So he's just like, Ma, you knew that that wasn't mine. I never had a PlayStation. I've always had an Xbox. Why would you throw that away? And it was with her stuff. Why would you do that? And then they start going back and forth and she's just like,
it's my house. I can do whatever I want in my house. If you don't want anything touched in my house, then don't bring stuff to my house.
Suck my.
You can bet your bottom dollar. You can bet your best dollar. I ain't never brought nothing else over there. I should have never brought my ass back over there. But I did. I did. What can I say? I was down bad. City girl down a point. And I definitely told him she's going to have to replace my PlayStation. Sorry, but it was a new PlayStation. My mama bought me that for Christmas. Something's going to have to shake. You're going to have to, like, tell her to buy me a new PlayStation or whatever. So he's like, all right, I'm going to tell her. He ends up lying to me, y'all, telling me that his mama bought me a new PlayStation. The whole time he was working. I don't know where he was working. I think he was working at, like, Firehouse Subs or something. He was working somewhere. And I guess he like saved up his checks or whatever to buy me a new PlayStation, which I guess that was sweet of him for what it's worth. But it's like, your mama was opposed to buying me a new PlayStation after knowingly throwing my shit away. And y'all, it's not like she didn't have money. They had a nice house, nicer house than I did. Okay, so yeah, but he lied to me. That ended up coming out later. It just gets worse than that. It gets worse. There were a couple of times where me and him were like going to the mall or going to like a shopping center, plaza, grocery store, something like that, and she would say like, oh, I need something from the store anyways, or I need to go return something at the mall, or she would try to insert herself in coming with us because he would be driving or whatever, and she would like ask if she could ride with us. Mind you, I did not have no problem with that because I didn't think that it was like disingenuous. I didn't think that it was calculated. I didn't think she was coming to bother us. I thought she was being, you know, she genuinely wanted to come. And like I said, we wasn't doing nothing inappropriate anyway. We was literally just hanging out. So I didn't see no problem with it. I felt like when we got to the mall, she would go her way, we would go our way, we would meet back up, we would leave, whatever. So she ends up coming with us. And when she came with us, she would make comments like,
I just can't believe like what some of you younger girls be wearing nowadays. Like when I was your age, modesty was still in. Like I just wish that it was back when it, like things were more modest and girls just covered up more.
Twin, Jill vibe. Like your ass is not Jill vibing like at all.
Mind y'all, I literally was just wearing regular teenage girl like crop top, skinny jeans, maybe a bodysuit. Like yeah, that might not be your cup of tea, but like, you're not my mother. And I'm also not wearing anything inappropriate. It's not like I would wear a bodysuit with no undergarments, just so tight you can see everything. Like no, I didn't even have no body back then, y'all. Like even if I did, you can't judge me because I have more curves and I look more provocative in my clothes because I have curves. Like I didn't have curves, but even if I did, that wouldn't justify this. Like why are you judging me what I'm wearing, making these little comments about my clothes and about modesty and stuff like that? Like to me, that was just like super disrespectful. But ate that shit up, did not stunt that shit. I did not give a fuck. And I would just be like, I don't know, I just like crop tops. Like I think they're cute. And I remember one time in the car, she made this one comment and she was like,
I remember MB's ex, she was super modest. Like she was not really into crop tops and stuff like that. Like she would wear more like,
and like I cut her off and I was like, oh well, good thing MB isn't into that anymore. And she was like,
yeah, his type has definitely changed.
What do you mean by that?
And y'all, she was definitely throwing slugs, definitely catching the shade that she was throwing at me, but I did not care, baby. I didn't care. I was gonna address it with him later, but like I was just like, I clocked in my head that there was something off about this lady. Maybe she was missing some of her marbles. Maybe she was on, like, genuinely speaking, this part has nothing to do with the comment I just made. I thought maybe she could be on the spectrum, because some people that are on the spectrum, even at an older age, you know, they say what's on their mind and they don't really have the social cues sometimes to know if it's rude or if it comes, like, you know what I'm saying? And especially in my community of people, sometimes those things go undiagnosed. Sometimes people aren't diagnosed with that type of thing. And like I said, I was trying to pursue psychology. I was already in psychology class in high school, like doing courses that, you know what I'm saying, were not required because I was interested in psychology, and I learned about all of that stuff. So I was like trying to give her a justification and a reason for why she was the way that she was, without me trying to cut him off or clock it as just a weird ass bitch at first. So I was just kind of responding to her, not rudely or anything like that, but I started clocking it a little bit, and whenever I would, she kind of would shut up, and that would be that. Like, First of all, you're trying to make me feel inferior for dressing like any other 16-year-old girl just because his ex dressed like what, a pilgrim? Like, I don't care what shorty used to dress like. I'm not finna dress like no pilgrim. I'm gonna dress how I want to dress. Like, it wasn't even a one-time thing, y'all. Like, literally there was a time where a message popped up on his phone. I saw that it was from his mother, and she sent him this paragraph that was just kind of like,
MB, I'm kind of worried about you. Like, I feel like, I don't know if you guys' age difference is the reason for all of these little petty arguments and childish arguments you guys are getting in. Maybe you need a girl that's more your age or a little bit older, that's more mature, that's more modest, that knows herself a little better. I'm just giving you some unsolicited advice. Like, I know you didn't ask, but I'm just telling you how I feel because I'm looking out for you.
And I took his phone. Like, this must have been at the gas station. He left his phone in the car, type of one of those things. I grabbed his phone and I responded as if I was him, and I was like, Mom, you need to mind your business. I don't want you to keep speaking on Chesa because she hasn't done anything disrespectful, and you need to stop being so judgmental, and I just want you to keep your nose and opinions out of my relationship. And y'all, some of y'all might feel like I overdid it or that was not my place to do it. He was mad at me for that because he was like, I feel like you should have just told me like you saw it and I would have addressed it with her. But y'all, I did not trust that he would have. I did not trust that he would have. I feel like he would have responded like any dude, like a nonchalant dude, and been like, Mom, whatever, like chill, or like it's gonna be okay, Mom, she's a good girl. Like, maybe he would have defended me, but I don't think he would have told me she said that, and I don't think he would have clocked her tea, like telling her to keep her opinions to herself. So I had to clock the tea for him. Like, I don't care. But maybe I should have, you know, let him talk to his own mother. But y'all, I don't care. I should have clocked her as myself. I should have said, bitch. So we're getting to the like ending, like the real red flags, or no, these are all real red flags, but we're getting to like the ending situations or whatever. So remember how I told y'all she mentioned this Pisces ex-girlfriend of his? Okay, well, one day MB ends up telling me that he wants to do like a cookout, and he says that he always does cookouts at his house or whatever, where he invites his cousins. His house was like the family gathering house. Like, they was finna have another family gathering soon after this cookout. He ends up saying he wants to do a cookout and that I can invite some of my friends and some of my homegirls, because like I said, we have mutual guy friends, and I also had a couple guy friends of my own. None of the, like, you know, no guy friends that were secretly wanting to be with me, nothing inappropriate like that, but like homeboys that I've had since elementary school, and he has some homegirls too, so it wasn't nothing like that. He said invite your homeboys, invite your homegirls, and he was like, if you want to bring a dish, you can bring a dish or whatever. So I'm super excited, y'all. I gets down in the kitchen. Like, I'm trying to brainstorm how I can kind of make a good impression and, like, you know, just show my cooking skills or whatever. I wanted to do my big one, so I decided I was gonna bring some like mac and cheese and some beans, and then I was gonna bring arepas. And y'all already know that's my signature, that's my traditional dish from Venezuela, where my family is from, and I've been making arepas since I was little. So I was like, I'm gonna bring arepas, even though that's not traditional like cookout food. I wanted to show kind of both of my cultures or whatever. So I was like, I'm gonna bring my, you know, my real cookout food, and then I'm gonna bring some arepas too, just so people can try it if they want to. So I end up getting to the cookout early, obviously. My friends aren't there yet. A couple of his friends are there already. His mama's there, obviously, and like a couple of his cousins are there. And I bring the food or whatever, and his mom tries the arepa, and she's just like, oh, I mean, it's different, it's interesting. And y'all, arepas are so bomb. I know y'all probably think it's biased, but like, I will literally host a meet and greet in Atlanta and bring every single one of y'all an arepa, so y'all can tell me if y'all think it's interesting or it's weird or a wannabe burger, like Shorty said from the last story time. Like, no, them are tea. Nobody has ever said they don't like it. I don't care. So anyways, she's like kind of being like weird about it, but my mac and cheese was a hit. My beans, I mean, my beans were beans, they were good, but like my mac and cheese was a hit, y'all. Like, I was feeling myself or whatever. Y'all, this beanie is so itchy. If y'all see me itching my ear, it's because I literally cannot help it. I was itching it so bad in the last video, but I need to take this hair out. That's why I still got this beanie on my head. But anyways, so probably 30 minutes into the cookout, this girl walks in or whatever. I don't know who the girl is, and MB is kind of just like, like, I don't know with her or whatever. And then we kind of walk away towards all of our friends, and the conversation gets immediately switched to something else. Like, I don't know if it was purposeful, his cousin like had his back or whatever, but somebody changed the subject, and I didn't even ask about the girl. The girl came in with some lady, and they were over there talking to his mama, and we're all just talking or whatever. And I'm guessing like maybe that's the cousin, the black sheep of the family. Like, maybe they don't with her. I don't know who that girl is. I don't know who that is. So I end up walking away from them for a little bit, and the lady, not the girl, but the lady that's with the girl, comes up to me, and she's just kind of like, oh, hi, like, nice to meet you, you're so pretty, like, who are you? And I tell her, oh, I'm MB's girlfriend. And she just kind of like looks at me like, oh, like, she's like, She's like, oh. So I'm just like, yeah. And then I walk away or whatever. And I was kind of like taken aback by that kind of reaction or whatever. So I was like, what the fuck? So I go over to MB and I'm like, who is that lady that's with that girl? And he just kind of sighs and he pulls me to the side and he's like, oh, I didn't really want to tell you right now because I know how you be, but that's my ex and that's her mom or whatever. My mom and her mom are really, really good friends, which is how I met her. I don't talk to her anymore, but sometimes she'd be inviting her to like family events and stuff like that. Huge red flag, y'all. I wish he would have told me that from the jump, because if I would have known the ex is involved, especially the ex that the mama brought up at the first dinner, oh baby, it would have been clipped. It would have been clipped. But he's just like, I don't F with her. I don't talk to her. I'm not even gonna talk to her here, so don't even worry about it. I'll try to make sure it doesn't happen again, because I really haven't had a girlfriend since her, for real. Which to me sounded like a lie, because the Pisces girl was middle school girlfriend, and I'm pretty sure he's had a girlfriend since middle school. I get annoyed, obviously. My whole energy shifts. I end up going to his room, playing the game a little bit, and then the girl ends up coming to his room. He's not in the room with me. I'm like in there playing the game for a second by myself, because like everybody gets kind of spread out and like everybody's doing their own thing. And she ends up coming in the room and she's just like, oh, where's MB? And I was like, I don't know. And I keep playing the game, and she was like,
oh well, I hope you don't feel no type of way or anything. Like, me and him don't have nothing going on. Like, I just be over here for real.
And she was like,
I don't be having no problems with his little girlfriend.
and I looked at her and I was just like, I really don't want to talk to you. And then I looked away, because I didn't like the little girlfriends. Like, y'all know the type of energy bitches be having, and I did not want to have to drag her in that house. So I was like, I really don't want to talk. I don't know if I said I don't want to talk to you, or if I was like, I really don't want to talk. She ended up walking away. Like, I had to hold it together. Like, if she would have said something else to me, y'all, I probably would have whooped her. So I'm glad that she didn't. I'm glad that she had some sense about herself. But yeah, she ends up going away or whatever, and I really didn't like that she was looking for him, because what are you looking for him for if y'all don't talk? You probably knew that he was out there and I was in here, and you wanted to come try to show assert some type of dominance that you don't have, or that you might have, but you're not gonna have it in front of me.
Amen.
So obviously that ends up being an issue. I get back to him about it. Me and him are going back and forth about it. The mom comes in and she's just kind of like, well, she was in the picture before you were, so you just need to respect her. She doesn't cross any boundaries, so you don't need to cross any boundaries. And I was just like, yeah. Now that I'm like saying this out loud, I feel like this is crazy. Like, I definitely like brought this whole situation to his attention, and I low-key feel like I was like subconsciously getting ready to cut him off, or at least give him some type of ultimatum. Like, if you do not handle this, if you do not have a sit down with her and get her to stop acting the way that she acts, like, I'm not gonna be able to do this, because it's just too much for me. Because like, a lot of people would not deal with this, which I should have been one of them that don't deal with this. But y'all, the mom inviting the ex to the cookout wasn't enough to leave.
Y'all be weak in the knees. Stand up. Stand up.
So shortly after this situation, she started getting really weird. We ended up going to a movie one day, and when she saw on his location that he was at the movie, she started calling during the movie, and she kept calling. He wasn't answering, obviously, because we were in the movie. His phone was silenced. For one, he didn't see the first couple calls, and like when he realized she was calling, he was like, I'm gonna call her when the movie's over or whatever. Y'all, we had a big thing of popcorn, we had nachos, we had candy. We were in the movies actually watching a movie. We were not in the movies doing nothing nefarious, you know what I'm saying? He ends up texting her like, Ma, I'm at the movies. She's like, I know, y'all are being inappropriate. I just can sense y'all are being inappropriate and sneaking around. I really don't like that. She's a bad influence on you. And literally, y'all, there were times where he made advances on me and I turned him down, because I was not active at that point in my life yet. Y'all know I lost my V when I was almost 18, and it was not with him. So I was not doing nothing with him. We was kissing, like maybe we was, you know, kissing and stuff like that, but we wasn't doing nothing more than that, boo. Like, we wasn't even bumping goodies, and she was literally tripping. So she's texting him all of this, and then she's like, I just know y'all are doing something. He's like, Mom, we're literally not. He literally sends a picture of the popcorn and everything, and she ends up popping up at the movie, y'all. She ends up coming to the movies. We end up seeing her. Like, I saw her, and he ended up telling me like, no, that's probably not her. That probably wasn't her. Y'all, I knew it was her. I knew her silhouette. She had these funky glasses that she wore too. She came, like, y'all know, you walk in the little hall of the movie and then you can see all the seats. She was standing at the bottom of the stairs, looking up at all the seats or whatever, looking up on her. I saw her phone. She was just looking. I saw her, and then she walked away when she saw that we wasn't doing nothing because she was looking goofy. Because like, what did you think you was finna catch us doing in front of everyone in the movie theater seats? Like, are you dumb? After that situation, I was like, yeah, you need to have a conversation with her, because at this point it's getting weird. She's following us to the movies, she's coming in the movie that we're in to see what we're doing. Like, this is just getting weird. Do you not think that this is weird? And he's just like, yeah, I'm gonna talk to her. Y'all, we end up getting back to his house, and I'm getting my stuff to go, like to leave or whatever, and she's like, I don't know why you guys think that it's appropriate for y'all to be doing anything with each other. Y'all are too young for that. And then she says to him, like, I already been had this conversation with you with what you used to do. And I'm just like, girl, why are you snitching, like dry snitching on him? Like, you don't think I know that he's been active with other girls? Like, you don't think he's told me that, girl? He's 17 years old. He's just not getting that from me yet, and I'm glad he never got it. But anyway, so I'm just like, I said to her, like, respectfully, I'm not doing anything with your son. Like, I'm not doing anything with anyone. I've never done anything with anyone. I'm not even ready for that yet. We were literally just at the movies, and then I ended up telling him, like, I'm going home, and I ended up leaving. Keep in mind that she accused us of that, but saw that we wasn't doing nothing in that movie theater, and was told that we wasn't doing anything in general. Okay, so remember how I told you guys that he smoked and that she knew he smoked? Okay, one day we was in his room, he cracked his window and he started smoking, you know, that stuff or whatever. I was not like participating with him because, like I told y'all, I did not smoke at the time, but I wasn't like tripping off of sitting next to him while he did it. Like, I didn't really care. It was his room, the window was open. It wasn't like we was hotboxing a car or nothing like that. I wouldn't sit in no hotbox or nothing like that, but he had the window open all the way, and he was like, you know, doing what he was doing or whatever. So a little bit later, like after he's done or whatever, she ends up coming and like asking us, oh my god, what is that smell? Why does it smell like that? Like, what are you guys doing? And she starts tripping, like she starts yelling at us, mind you. So I'm just looking at him because I'm like, you know, I don't smoke. I'm not about to dry snitch on you and be like, it's all him, like, even though she knows you smoke or whatever. But I just was kind of like looking at him, hoping that he would defend me and be like, oh my bad, ma, like I cracked the window, or like it was me or whatever. And he's just sitting there like just watching her yell. So she ends up saying something like,
you wasn't doing all that smoking, especially in my house before she came in the picture. Like, do you see?
Y'all, I'm getting so washed out. This is bothering me. She's changing you. Like, what is going on? And then she looks at me and she's like, you're not doing it too? And I was like, no, I don't smoke. And she was like, you're lying. Like, I know y'all are smoking. Y'all don't need to be smoking in my house. And then she just slams the door and walks out. Now, as y'all can probably imagine, I was mad that he did not defend me. So I start going back and forth with him. Now I'm like, I feel like you should have defended me. You should have said something to her, because for one, you know that that's not because of me. So you should have said something to her. Why are you letting her yell at me? Why are you letting her be disrespectful to me? And like, this was like almost the last straw. But I knew, y'all, that we had a family gathering like the next day or the day after that, where I was supposed to meet all of his family, and I already agreed to go. I already invited one of my homegirls. So I don't know, I didn't cut him off yet. Like, it wasn't this was where I basically like told him, like, you need to talk to her, because now she's being mean to me, and like it's starting to really upset me for real, because she don't want me to get my mother involved when she's talking to me the way that she's talking to me. So he was just kind of like, all right, I already told you I would talk to her, but like now I'm really going to talk to her after the family gathering tomorrow or whenever it was. I'll talk to her and I'll have her talk to you or whatever, because I agree, like it ain't cool. He was like, he ended up apologizing to me for not like admitting to why the smell was like that, and not like taking the blame for it, even though it was his blame. So he ends up like telling me he'll text her. He ends up showing me the text, I think the next day, where he was like telling her that it was all him, and I forgave him or whatever. So now we're gonna get to the last situation, the family gathering. I don't remember if it was like his mom's birthday, or if it was Labor Day, or if it was just like a holiday or something like that. I know it wasn't like Christmas or one of those, but I know that people were cooking and he had family over, and this was the first time I was gonna meet a lot of his aunties and stuff like that. So I end up going. I'm dressed real nice, y'all. I'm even dressed real modest, more modest than I would have dressed any other time, just because I didn't want no BS to happen. I knew he was gonna talk to her after that, like after the gathering or whatever you wanted to call it. So I was really trying to just be on my best behavior, trying to not give her no reason to say nothing. So we go or whatever, and I end up being in his room for a second. I don't really remember what for, but we ended up like, I met his aunties and everything like that, and not gonna lie, y'all, his aunties were kind of looking at me funny, not because of like what I had on, but like they kind of looked at me like they were disappointed or something like that. Like, I don't know, y'all, I don't know. Like literally his uncles were like, oh, I see you nephew, I see you nephew. His grandpa was like, I see you grandson. Like they were hype, like all the men were hype and like saying how pretty I was, and all the ladies were just looking at me stank. Like, so I'm like, obviously the mom had to have planted seeds in their head, or I don't know, like I wasn't really thinking at the moment like what could have been the reason, but I was just like clocking it, like I could peep that they were all looking at me funny. So I ended up going to his room for a second. I don't know if I just went to his room whenever I felt uncomfortable or whatever, but I went to his room, and then he came in there and he looked like visibly bothered. So I was just kind of like, what's wrong with you? And he was like, my aunties are being weird. And he was like, if you want to go somewhere, we can go, like we can leave or whatever. So I'm like, leave? I'm like, what do you mean they're being weird? And he was like,
my auntie just pulled me aside and was like asking me why we're doing like illegal, like why we're doing illegal activities and getting into trouble. And she asked me why we got caught doing inappropriate stuff at the movies.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
so y'all, literally right after this situation where she caught us doing nothing at the movies and followed us to the movies like a weirdo, and she saw that we wasn't doing nothing, and I told her we wasn't doing nothing after she yelled at us about him doing this, even though she knew he did that all the time, and she knew that I did not participate or partake in that. She still went like a weird chismosa and went and told her aunties with her nosy, messy ass, or told her sisters, his aunties, that I was getting him into trouble and we was getting into trouble and doing this and in the house, and how we were doing nasty stuff at the movies. And I was just like, y'all, I was furious. Like, now me and him start going back and forth because I'm telling him like, I'm gonna go out there and say something, like, no, I'm gonna clear my name, like I'm not about to let her spread these false narratives about me. I don't want your family looking at me crazy. Your mama already be looking at me crazy and I don't even do nothing. So I'm like, I'm gonna go out there and say something. If you don't go say something right now, I'm gonna go say something. And he did not want me to say nothing, y'all, because he seen me, like, you know, we went to the same school, so he seen me clock females, like he seen me clock girls in the neighborhood. Like, he knows I'm not one to play with. I don't just start no unnecessary drama or nothing like that, but like he knows I'm not one to play with. And once I told him, if you don't go say something, I will, he knew better. So he was like, all right, I'm gonna go say something, I'm gonna go say something. And then before that could even happen, his mama come in the room and is like, why are y'all yelling in my house? So I turned to her and I was like, why are you spreading lies about me and saying that I'm getting your son into trouble and that we're doing nasty stuff at the movie theater? And she like, y'all, this lady, I don't know if she was shocked I said something, but she's like,
oh, are you trying to argue with me? Are you trying to argue with an adult?
and I was like, I'm not trying to argue with you, but I just don't understand why you would tell his auntie something like that when you know it's not true. And I'm not even yelling at her, y'all. I'm just saying, like, I'm just speaking. And she starts raising her voice at me and she's like,
I don't know who you're talking to. This is my house. Like, I don't know who you're talking to, but you need to watch your mouth because you're being disrespectful.
And I was like, it's disrespectful for you to be lying and trying to get people to look at me funny when you know we wasn't doing nothing. So then MB says to me, he's like, Chesa, just stop. Like, let me talk to her. And I was just like, okay, talk to her then. You have the floor. Talk to her. And he's just standing there looking. So she's still going. She's talking to me. She's like,
I honestly feel like you corrupt my son, and I feel like you just need to leave. Like, you're having him doing all of this stuff, and now you're trying to disrespect me in my own house.
So I stand up to get my stuff to go. Like, I'm like, you don't have to tell me nothing else, baby. I'm gone. So I stand up to, like, literally, y'all, I promise y'all, I would tell y'all the truth if I was standing up to square up with her. I was not. Like, I'm like on a Mac at this point. Like, I don't fight old. So I stood up and I'm getting ready to get my stuff. Like, I'm about to break up with him and everything. Like, I'm out of here. So I stand up and she's like, oh, and she starts pushing me, y'all. So she's like, she's pushing me and she's like,
you want to get disrespectful? You want to get disrespectful?
and she's pushing me. So when she pushes me, I pushed her back and I was like, you don't want to do this with me. You don't want to do this with me. I don't want to fight you. You don't want to do this with me. Let me leave. And she's like,
get your mother. Get your mother.
so once I start talking like, you don't want to do this, when I get in your face back, now you want to tell me to go get my mother. And y'all, my mama's fighting days are long over. Like, my mom is very cutesy. My mom is very demure. Like, I'm not playing. I know y'all hate that word. I'm gonna use it until I can't use it no more. But like, my mom is not no fighter. My mama was in the military 8 years, so she can definitely get down. My mama was fighting with her sisters when she was young and stuff like that. But my mom is a very nice woman. She never fought for no reason. She always fought when people were picking on her sisters and stuff like that. She never just was like about that action. My mom is not that type of person, you know what I'm saying? She's gonna hit you if you hit her, but like, my mom is not the type, like, I'm gonna call my mama and come pull up and beat your mama. Like, no, my mom is not that type of lady. My mom has class. My mom is a bad bitch. So I'm like, what? Get my mama? Are you crazy? And y'all, honestly, if my mama would have saw a lady trying to fight me, she probably would have got mad to the point of like where she would be ready to defend her daughter, but she also know I got them thumpers. Like my mom knows who I am. That's my mom. Like she would have probably let me whoop that lady on my own. Like she know I can handle my own. Are you crazy? So I was not about to give my mama, like, are you dumb? So like MB ends up separating us. All that ends up happening is us pushing each other and like me squaring up on some like, you don't want to do this. Like we don't end up tussling, but I'm like, yo, mama just pushed me and was about to fight me right now, and now telling me to bring my mama when I literally did nothing to you. So y'all, she ends up storming off to her room or whatever, to her aunties or whatever, and they're all yelling. Her and the aunties are yelling, like being so like disrespectful. Like that little girl needs to get out of this house, as if I started some like drama or like started some type of altercation. So I get all my stuff, y'all. At this point I'm crying tears. Y'all know my angry tears. I'm crying. I'm like, you to him. I'm like, I'm done with you. I am done with you. You and your crazy mama. You need to take me home right now. Take me home right now. And y'all, I was so ready to go. This was one of the times where he had picked me up, so I didn't have my car. So I demanded him take me home. He took me home, and when I got out the car, I was like, you better keep that on a leash, because I should have been whooped your mama. I should have been whooped your mama. He did not like that very much. He ended up skirting off. He ended up trying to get with me, or like get back together with me like later on, but I was like, baby, like I liked you and all. You only really had like one red flag, but like you did not defend me when it came to your mother, and your mom is honestly enough of a red flag to not mess with you. You need to get that together, or all of your relationships are going to fail. Like y'all, I pray to whatever girl he's with now, if he is with a girl, if he's married or anything like that, I pray to whatever woman he ends up marrying and have children with, because I know that lady's behavior did not change. I just know it. But yeah, y'all, that's the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you comment, like, and subscribe. Comment other videos that you guys want to see from me. Turn on the post notification bell so you never miss when I post a video. Follow me on all my social medias that are in the link tree in the description box below. Also, in my new intro, shout out to C. Y'all are gonna see her ad. I'm gonna put it on the screen even though you can see it in the intro. And make sure you follow me on Instagram at ChesaTheBrat. Follow my new TikTok at ChesaTheBrat. And yeah, I love you guys so much. I'm gonna catch y'all in the next one. Bye.
Twin, Jill vibe. Like, your ass is not Jill vibing, like, at all.